And now I've asked you to join me in the search for the one matchstick entrepreneur. So I've finished the journey. We've got this office space. We want to help startup entrepreneurs, and we need to find the the um, the startup that will get the office space. And you're going to be one of the judges, along with Alon Reyes and myself, at the final event where they're going to have to pitch to
Yeah.
to get it. But I don't know if there's anything you want to say about that process.
Yeah, I think it's for me, I think it's interesting and it's fascinating. It also comes down to something that keeps coming up in our conversation time and time again, right? This idea of showing up. And a lot of the time we do show up, and sometimes you don't show up for ourselves. And I think that is, for me, one of the things that I realize about myself and I advise other people on, but I'm not very good at taking my own advice in where that's concerned. It's this idea of show up for yourself, number one, and secondly, show up for your dreams and the things that you want to accomplish. It's also about in while as you show up for yourself, almost there's there are very many kinds of people who show up for themselves. There's the kind of person who, going to be controversial now. So there's the kind of person who tends to be a loudmouth, who tends to talk more than they do, who tends to almost overshadow the expert or the knowledgeable person. And then there's the kind of person on the opposite end of that spectrum who is the one who's knowledgeable, the one with the experience, but the one who sits quietly in the room, the one who sits quietly in the corner. And if anything, I'd love to see that kind of person who sits quietly in the corner and doesn't show up for themselves actually stand up and show up and pitch their dream and pitch their idea, because it's those people that we are missing in the world. It's those people that, in my view, are the ones who are going to change the status quo in a lot of the things that we're struggling with. I mean, South Africa has record power outages, water outages, and a lot of these things are, of course, linked to climate change and the fact that the world is changing. And it's the people who sit in rooms with big ideas quietly, not showing up for themselves, who never end up being seen or heard. I'd love to see that person showing up for themselves. And this is not to say everybody else who shows up for themselves every day shouldn't come, because both of them should make it. And I feel like
Yes.
if we have both people showing up and being seen, the world will definitely change. So this may seem like a small step, but it's a giant leap for the right person.
And maybe just I want to ask you in a moment just what you actually mean by showing up. But I think in this context, what we're talking about is, because maybe I don't know if I've made it clear yet in this segment of the podcast, but the process to get to apply for the One Matchstick office is, and you've got applications are open between now and 5th of April. You need to send in a 2-minute video, a video of yourself that says why you want the office space, what you're going to do with it, and introducing obviously your business idea. And it's for startups that are in the first like 3-4 years of their journey. So it can either be, it's going to be a great opportunity for someone who's never started a business but has an idea. This might be the opportunity that kickstarts them into action, or someone who's going along and wants to expand or wants to get more professional and wants an environment that supports them, because the office space is in Raise Corp, which is also quite exciting. It's a business incubator. You're not actually in the actual incubation process, but you have access to all the facilities there, the offices, the meeting rooms, and the water. Because as you say, half of Joburg hasn't had water and the power. So we want people to show up, and as you said, the quiet ones who usually don't, as well as anyone who's more used to speaking up for themselves. And find a way to come forward and send in that application. So you just have to load it on your social media, hashtag risk and rise, one matchstick, and tag me so that I can find you and add your application into the pool. Then we're going to actually go through all those applications, choose the top 10, and then the top 5. Oh, if the top 10, the public will then vote on their favorites, and the top 5 will get into the one matchstick office warming party, where there you have to show up again. And from my story, it's worth showing up because sometimes it's all you have to do. But show up, do your last pitch, and then Alon, you and I are going to decide who gets the one matchstick office space. But what advice would you give then for that really quiet one, that person that would help them maybe show up, and if they hear this opportunity and see it, or in other aspects of their life, because it's a very useful
Yeah, I think
place.
the it's this is going to sound a bit silly, but actually it works for me and it's kind of true. It's like we underestimate the idea of or the notion of scripting ourselves, of writing down and memorizing potential scenarios, potential conversations, and potential things. You asked about sales earlier, and one of the things that really great salespeople do or have done is that they've almost practiced down to a T every single rejection and every single scenario that would come up in a conversation to make that person to get to a point where that person says, yes, I'll buy this thing. So we underestimate the power of scripting, memorizing, and thinking through what we want to say. And that's literally what a pitch is, right? A pitch is this idea of coming up with an idea, putting that idea together, and making that idea make sense through a series of sort of conversational cues that you come up with. So for both the quiet and the not so quiet person, it may seem easy to rattle off your idea, but it's not always the case when you have to talk about that idea with potential investors in the room, or somebody who can literally change the course of your business. So the idea really is that you script yourself, you think about what you want to say, and you rehearse it as much as possible to say it in front of people, and be prepared, be ready. I think the biggest thing, I think that one of the biggest things that I keep learning is that sometimes you want to win the lottery, whatever winning the lottery is to you, right? You want to win the lottery, but you aren't prepared with yourself to be a lottery winner or to be the recipient of that $100 million or whatever it is, right? And so the idea is be
And
prepared.
you don't actually buy the ticket.
Exactly.
And
So
that's the starting thing, is you just have to buy the ticket and then get ready and prepare for being the person.
yes.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, scripting
Yeah.
is it? And if sorry, yeah.
No, I'm just thinking. I think the one of what the thing that comes down to, if I were to put it down to one word, is mindset.
And what kind of mindset? Just
So the kind of mindset that we've just alluded to, right? Prepare,
okay.
prepare, buy the tickets, be in the
Show
right
up.
frame of mind, show up, script it, uh, try to understand what the conversation might be, warm yourself out to the conversation by rehearsing it. So be in the right mindset, be in the right sort
Yeah.
of frame of mind. So I think to me,
Framework.
it's like prepare that mindset.
Yeah, so if I can put it into my what I teach as a courage coach, is specifically around confidence. Confidence only comes from practice, and I think that's what you're talking about. Is the scripting, the practicing, the getting yourself in the right mindset, and literally prepared to put yourself out there. It's a huge resource that we have. And a lot of people, I think, they're so scared they don't even start that preparation. And it's when you start preparing, you should be awkward and clumsy the first time you record your pitch. So phase 2, which is the top 10, and then phase 3, the top 5, that's where you then have time to really fine tune your pitch and really practice it and get it better. But the thing is also, and I just actually mentioned in the previous episode where I spoke about what is underneath the fear of failure, and I believe it's the way we've constructed our sense of worth. And part of that is separating our confidence from our esteem or sense of worth. And so in showing up, those that are quiet, I think sometimes they've linked too much who they are, their identity, to whether this thing that they're going to show up for works or doesn't work. And then they internalize it as, I'm a failure because that failed. So my invitation to people is to separate the two. So understand your value is not linked to what you do. What you do comes with practice, and you need to do it in order to gain the confidence. So it's you can go listen to that whole episode. For people that want more of that distinction, and I'm sure I'll be bringing it up more and more. But it's I thank you for bringing up that part about confidence in my language. In yours, it's the preparation mindset. So super. So and I'm so excited to have you alongside me to debate about who's going to be the final startup that's going to get the One Matchstick office. So people who want to learn more about how to apply, they can go to onematchstick.co.za/search. You just go to that website, all the information's there. Otherwise, just get in touch with myself or even Mongezi. He'll point you in the direction. But yes, we are open now for applications, and just remember to tag me, let me know where your application is, and we can get them closer to finding the One Matchstick startup. So awesome.
Find out more at riskandrise.co.za.